Okay, so we talk here a little bit about a certain overview of all the epochs and styles. So we have not the whole styles, but all the major epochs: Renaissance, Baroque, Classical period, Romantic. Because then we can add Neoclassic, and then we go into the era of the modern era, or contemporary. Okay, so what are the basic differences? Of course, this is something very brief in a nutshell. Here I have an example of a Pavan by Luis Milan. It's just consists of basic chords. And usually this part is repeated, then comes the next. Very quick modulation. However, also we can see, how can we recognize that this is Renaissance? By the modality. This music is very close to modal music because we see some modes included here. For example, in C major. This would be actually a Lydian mode in C major, or if we go to the A minor from the beginning, this would be mode. Okay, so there is a lot of modal elements included in the music here. Yeah, here also. Usually a G major. This would be a G major scale, but here we have with a sharp 4. So all of these elements clearly emphasize to our ear this is Renaissance music. Very chordal, usually very homophonic. Then we get to the Baroque era. Let's pick a piece here by Silvius Leopold Weiss. Baroque is, we tune down to D. Okay, this piece, the Fantasie by Silvius Leopold Weiss, starts with a prelude. And the prelude is rather free, an improvisatory piece just at the beginning to get everyone introduced to the real piece, which would be rather the fugue. And a fugue is a typical piece that is used in Baroque music. The fugue, and we can see that here in the Fantasie there is a fugue-like part, which is maybe a small fugue, which we call a fugato. So in the fugue you have a subject and so forth, and then this subject usually is answered in a different voice. We can see it here in a certain way. So this is part of a fugue. It's very strictly in tempo usually, and in order to have this Baroque drive with some of a dance-like character, you always have notes that are emphasized and notes that are not emphasized. Plus you also have notes that are short, articulated, and notes that are left long and are legato. This would be legato, or in here this would be rather short. So the counter subject here in this case would be played rather articulate. This is very common for Baroque music and Baroque dances. The Baroque dances that are most famous are the Allemande, the courant, Allemande would be German dance, the courant, the French, sarabande, the Spanish one, and gigue, the English dance. So these are the most common ones used in Baroque music. There's a lot to say about Baroque music and how to phrase and how to articulate phrases. We don't have time for this today. Just a very, very brief overview. Then we come to the classical period.
Okay. Let's start with a interesting question. Why do you still have your hair?
Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I have my hair?
I don't know. Normally we think that if you have knowledge more, and you will have less hair.
Okay. Yes, I'm very happy that I still have hair. Whether I have knowledge, this is for other people to inspect, not for me to say. But at least I have hair, even if I don't have knowledge. Yes. Maybe at some point when I don't have hair, we can do another video.
How did you lose your hair?
Yeah, exactly. Then there will be another question.
Okay.